How now, spirits? Whither wander you? I am Un, and this is I Played a Thing, Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys. We are post-commentary today, because the live commentary I recorded was kind of bad, so fuck it, we're not doing it live. Last episode, Mayor Grady tasked us with consulting Dogi's mentor about the statues, so we're off to climb Mount Seiko. Let's do it to it! According to the notes for my practice run, I'm going to want to be around level 12 for the next boss we encounter, so let's take a quick look at my stats before we set out. And I am level 12. Marvelous! Our destination is Mount Seiko, which, in another of those arbitrary name changes, is referred to as the Eldar Mountains in the Japanese version and the remake. A few other name changes from the other versions while I'm thinking about it. The Kanai region was known as Felghana, hence Oath in Felghana, Mayor Grady's name was Edgar, and the gate guard Jatai was named Mr. Gardner. Oh, and the big blonde guy from the intro, while the narrator was blathering about Adol for some reason, was named Genos. He's the guy who originally sealed Gavilan, or Demonicus if you insist. One more, which is more of a name omission than a name change. In this version, Dogi's master is never named in-game. In the original and Oath in Felghana, his name is Burhart, like Bernhardt without the N. I have no idea why they changed so many names in this localization. It's not like there was anything wrong with the originals, but aside from Demonicus, it's not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things. Just figured I'd note them for the record. The only enemies we'll be encountering in the outside parts of the mountain are these hopping things that hide in rocky clumps along the ground. When you approach, they'll bust out, and the shards from the rock will hit and damage you, so that's really the main threat they pose. I like to come down on them from above with the jumping downward thrust. That way the shards usually don't hit me, and if I'm sufficiently leveled and equipped, then I will take them out on the first bounce. Now, as I was saying, those are the only enemies for the outside parts of the mountain, and it's not really the outside parts we have to worry about. You'll see what I mean in a little while. This probably isn't one of my favorite tracks from Ys 3, but there really are no bad tracks in this game, and I really like the title, which is Stealing the Will to Fight. And I do appreciate that it's something a little different. Most of the tracks in this game are that synth rock kind of thing we've been hearing up until now. This one has a little bit more of a melancholy sort of feel to it, and I appreciate the variety. Now, remember what I was saying about the outside not really being what we have to worry about? It's the caves here that'll really fuck you up. Mountains of Evil? That's kinda judgmental, Ys. Anyway, yeah, it's the caves that are the real threat here, at least at my current levels and equipment. The main enemies in here are these rocky guys that pop up from the ground. They like to pop up directly underneath you, and as you can see by what just happened to my health bar, they will definitely fuck you up. I like to move forward kinda slowly and keep my down thrust going. That tends to take them out a little more easily than trying to stop immediately as they pop up in front of you and hitting them that way. However, I'm not too happy with my current state of affairs, so I think I'm gonna head back and do a little photosynthesis. Okay, first cave, take 2. And I'm going to update my save because every little bit of extra experience and gold is worth hanging on to. And hopefully this time won't be quite such a massive clusterfuck. Well, so much for that idea. We are not off to a good start here. But I'm gonna try and push ahead because all I need to do is get to the other side of this cave, and there will be a free heal waiting for me when I come out the other end. Ah, there's the other kind of enemy that can be found in the cave here. These flying insect things that can spawn smaller insects, as Adol just discovered to his, well, death. This game's slightly wobbly collision detection doesn't help at all when dealing with the bugs, because it's really hard to even get close enough to hit them without suffering some contact damage. Well, nothing to do but reload and give it another try. Not taking quite so much contact damage from the rock guys this time. That is hopefully a positive omen. Alright, bug thing. Ah, see, there it goes. I cannot afford too many of those. Also, if you hang around trying to be careful about your strikes for too long, the little bugs they spawn can kind of build up and gangbang you, and we don't want that. But daylight! We've got daylight! Whew, just barely made it.
Adel, how did you get here?
Dogi, is this your companion Adel? It is fate that we meet now. Come in, my children. We must ponder the future. I see. Those from Valestein Castle are seeking the ancient statues. I know one of the statues is hidden here in the caverns of Mount Seco. Legend says it is protected by a powerful force. It is said that the beast which dwells atop these mountains holds powerful magic, a talisman to help enter the caverns. Adel, my child, you are unprepared. Carry this sword with you into battle.
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Not only did we get a free heal and some instructions on what to do next, we get the second best sword in the game and the one with the most metal name, the Banded Slayer. Badass. Adol, are you sure that you want to go? Walk easy, Dogi. I can do it. Don't get overconfident. Be careful, my friend. Aw, thanks, Dogi. If you are weakened, return to this cabin. Yep, we can pop back in here and get all the free heals we want. Just like the regrowing harb in the volcano, it's an opportunity to do a little relatively safe grinding if you need to, so you won't get stuck here under-leveled, or if you need to grind up for some more equipment, you can also do that. Very nice of East 3 to give you ways to not get stuck in an unwinnable situation. It is, as I've mentioned, greatly overshadowed by its remake, but it does some things very well. Alright, we're back into the open air, and the statue there is guarding the monster that holds the next statue. So, as Burhart suggested, we're going to need to acquire a talisman from the next boss in order to get down there. But we've got a few more of these rock-hiding, hopping dudes to take care of first. Fortunately, I'll take those over the growing from the ground rock guys and the giant bugs any day. They're put in slightly more difficult spots to get over them in this place, so I do take a few more hits than I did on the first round of them, but not too big a deal. I do only need to be at level 12 for the next boss, and I think that's where I still am currently. And speak of the devil, here is our next boss, Legati. Want to make sure I've got my Banded Slayer on? Yep. And we'll break out the power ring as usual. For a lot of the boss fights in this game, just taking them down as quick as possible is the best way to survive. The bad news is Legati is fairly accurate with those three-way shots. She can point them directly at where you are, and she also likes to get out of the way of your attacks. When you approach her, she likes to back up and get out of range of your sword strikes. You can kind of back her up against the mountains to the left and right, but it's not a very consistent thing, so really I just keep on her and just take my hits where I can. The good news is there's only one Legati in the original game. You have to fight 3 of them in Oath and Felghana. I'd really rather not, because that would mean I'd have to go back to town, but I think I'm gonna need my harb. Will you hold still, please? Okay, one or two more good rounds of sword contact will do it. There we go. Hey, a level! And we get the Flame Staff, which, you won't be surprised to hear, is exactly what we need to get past that stone statue blocking the cave. Also, that level I just gained puts me a little ahead of where I need to be, because according to my notes I was able to defeat the next boss with a level of only 12. Alright, we've got a few screens of nothing much to get back to the statue, so I'm just gonna edit my way on over. The Flame Staff emits a light and unseals the stone statue. And wait a minute, I've still got my ring on. Let's take care of that real quick. Much better. Now then, the path to the next boss holding the statue is now open. However, I don't really like my chances of taking him on without a harb, even if my level is a little higher than it was last time. So I'm gonna roll on back to Redmont and pick myself up a fresh harb, and I will see you on the rebound. Well, I did pick up my harb, but hold the phone, I've also got enough dough for the next level of armor. I think I could probably still take the next boss without it, but making the next stretch of the game a little more survivable, can't really see a downside. And hey, it's the banded armor. It'll go just perfect with my banded slayer. It'll also take out most of my funds, but you can't put a price on outfit coordination. Thank you, my good man. Alright then, with the second best armor in the game, I think I'm about ready to head back and take on that boss. See you there. Righto then, as one does before heading into a battle of uncertain outcome, one updates one save game. And in we go. It's going to be another stretch of cave, but with another level and better armor under our belt, I don't think we're going to have too much trouble. Yep, took a hit almost immediately, and it did virtually nothing. Yep, bumping into the bug did almost no damage either. How the boss will go remains to be seen, but getting to him has become trivial, and you remember how much damage these things were doing to me before. Here is the room of our boss Gildias. Those rapid-fire three-way shots, those are real hard to avoid at close range, and since there are no ranged weapons in this game, we're going to have to close the distance. He also has a close-range tail attack that does shit tons of damage, so I think I'm going to go with the shield ring this time. A little different from my usual power ring approach, but sometimes you gotta mix it up a little. Okay, going for the head seems to work reasonably well. Getting in and attacking the legs on the other hand, wow, that did not work well. When I told you the tail attack does a shit ton of damage, I was not kidding. So we're going to take advantage of Isa's kindness in letting you restore your game anytime, and taking another crack at it. Fortunately, just as before, getting to the boss through the cave here is going to be very trivial. And this time, I think I've got his number. I suppose it only makes sense. If I were trying to slay a dragon, I would probably want to go for the head instead of the very well-armored body, even putting the whole tail thing aside. The Time of Retribution. Battle 2. Decide the Destiny. Right then, stay the hell away from the body and the tail this time, and just chop on that head. Slowly but surely, we seem to be coming out ahead in the damage race. One dragon slain. A sloppy victory, but a victory nonetheless. And there's the statue. The last one, if I recall correctly.
Hold it! Don't move! Oh no! It's you again!
Give me those statues.
What's going on?
We are victims of the curse of Demonicus. Now we are trapped down here together.
Good. I've been wanting to ask you why you're doing King Maguire's dirty work.
All right, I'll tell you. A year ago, everyone in my village died. Murdered by that king. Right before my eyes, my friends, neighbors, and parents were butchered, one after another. My sister Elena and I were the only survivors. I started working at Palestine Castle. I was planning to avenge my people when I discovered the plans to re-invoke the curse of Demonicus. King Maguire underestimates the power of the curse. It can destroy Palestine Castle itself. And when it does, I will have my revenge. They will be destroyed by their own ambitions.
You could have your revenge that way. But think of all the innocent people who have been hurt by your helping the king. Many good people, like those who live in Serena, will be killed.
Hey, did you hear something?
Did someone call for a wall crush? I think I heard a wall crush.
Adel, I've come to rescue you. Chester, is that really you? It's me, Dogi.
Dogi?
Chester, you've changed. 10 years ago, you were a man with many dreams. You used to tell me how you were going to make the land of Kenai the greatest in the world. And now look at you. I want you to stop working for King Maguire and Palestine Castle, Chester. Then maybe things will be like they used to be between us.
Dogi, forgive me.
Master, thank you for everything.
Be at peace, Dogi. Remember me and return when you are in these lands.
Well, Adel, we must leave these cursed mountains.
Adol, something seems wrong here. I wonder what happened while we were gone.
Jedi, what happened?
The town was attacked. All the villagers have been taken hostage. They're being held in Palestine Castle.
What? Adel, only you can help them. Go, rescue the villagers. But take this ring with you. It is a parting gift from our master.
Whoop, I left my ring on again. And speaking of rings, we just got the heal ring, which does more or less what you'd expect. It converts ring power directly into HP. It tends to burn out your ring power pretty quickly, but if you have no harb and you're in a bad situation, then it may be able to pull your ass out of the fire every now and then. Adol, take care of yourself. Yes, I know. Everyone's been taken to Palestine Castle. I was trying to talk to Mr. Gardner there, but it doesn't seem to be working out. Well, we'll poke around town a little bit and see if anyone has anything new to say. I just remembered there that I don't actually need any consumables. Didn't use my harb, so I'm full up. But we can now afford the banded shield. So now I have a complete matching set of banded stuff, and all of the second best equipment in the game. We'll actually be getting all the best equipment while we're in Palestine, but Palestine does not fuck around, so anything I can do to make it more survivable, even for a very short term, it's a very welcome thing. I don't think there's anyone in the inn. But how about Mayor Grady?
This time I'm afraid King Maguire is serious. He says that if we don't give him the statues, he will kill all of the villagers. Adel, my boy, you fought very hard for this village, but as mayor, I have to make sure the people are safe. I have to ask you to give the statues to King Maguire, so that the villagers will be spared. You can fight him later.
I will go to Valestein Castle with the statues. There may be a way to free the villagers first.
You are a brave man, young'un. I trust your decision. Please try your hardest.
Watch out for evil creatures. I would go but for my leg. Well, you keep talking about that leg, I have to wonder if that's not a convenient excuse at this point. But then I am the swordsman and the adventurer, so I guess it's only right. Please help the villagers. Be careful. We don't want any more men to die young. I can't remember if that's the same thing that Grandma Ada said before, but, well, if it is, then it is. No harm in a repetition. Yep, we know. Alright then, we're off to Valestein. Elena! Why are you here? Serena was attacked by the soldiers from this castle. If I could find my brother, I could plead for the villagers' lives. Inside there is no place for an innocent girl like you. Hide here until I come back. Alright, good luck. Thanks, Elena. Oh, and your brother's still kind of a butthole, but the whole getting your village slaughtered and losing your parents and everyone around you to the king, that does quite a bit to humanize him, although I still don't think it quite makes up for kicking me down an active volcano. But all that aside, let's head on in. Level 14 should be enough for the next boss according to my notes, so I think we're all set. These green sorta caterpillar things are very fast and will sometimes get in and get their hit before you can get yours. Yep, and they hurt quite a bit. As I mentioned, even at my current level and the best equipment available at this point in the game, Valestein does not fuck around. And that's why I'm going back to the photosynthesis area in order to recover my health, and when I come back I think I'll do that a little smarter. Ah, that lovely, lovely tan-colored sun. And we'll update the save just to keep that bit of gold and XP. And second verse, hopefully better than the first. This time I'm just going to avoid combat with the caterpillar things. Which are fortunately as short as they are fast, making it easy to stop them. Now these things, their attacks are kind of hard to avoid at close or far range, so just kind of want to get in and do an attack to one of their extremities as soon as possible. Didn't hurt too much, fortunately. And now we are in the castle proper, and we start to run into the guards. And you really want to be careful with your timing on these stabbing statues, they hurt quite a bit. Now the green guards are no big deal, they'll just run right into your attacks. The yellow guys are a bit more of a problem, because they will actually swing their swords, and they have a pretty decent range on them. They're also a little harder to kill. And once they run into you, they kind of stick to your sprite, and it can be a little tricky to shake them off. Just like the stabbing statues, you want to be very careful of those spears from below. Touching any part of them will do damage, and it does a lot. In fact, at this level and this equipment, it might be enough to one-shot me. The yellow guys are also rather well armored, so even jumping over them and doing the down thrust will often just bounce off their armor. More often than not, the best thing to do is just to avoid combat with them if you have enough room to jump over them and run away. Alright, this is a little more health than I'd like to be missing at this point, but we'll keep it up. If push comes to shove, we'll always have the option of just heading back to town, a considerable amount of money and XP richer. There's what I mean about them sticking to your sprite. I think I'd better bust out the harp if I'm going to continue. Using it here instead of on a boss does not make me happy, but again, if we have to retreat, we can retreat. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that barrier there? If I touch that, it's instant death. So, needless to say, we're not going to be going this way just yet. I think the first boss of the castle will have the item we need to get past that. Should be just a little further to get the first piece of ultimate equipment. That scared me a little bit at first. I heard the music stop and I thought I was already on the boss room when I was pretty sure I should be able to get some equipment first. Just the game reloading its music track for whatever reason. There's the good stuff. The battle shield. The very best shield in the game. Just lying around in a treasure chest. And just one piece of ultimate equipment will do quite a bit for our survivability here. East 3 is a lot like East Book 1 and 2 in that one level or one piece of equipment can make a surprisingly large difference. I am really beat to shit, so I think I'm gonna break out the heal ring. Yeah, this is not gonna leave me in a good position to fight the boss between losing most of my ring power and not having a harp to work with. But we can always see how it goes and just reload if we need to. Oh, and there is the boss. This is probably a doomed experiment, so I'm definitely going to save before I attempt it. Alright, our boss here is Halvalgr. In the Oath in Felghana, he is replaced by Death Falion, who is probably the most difficult boss in that game. Just ask GTF. But Halvalgr is a lot simpler than Death Falion. Let's see, what should I go in with? If I recall correctly, the shield ring works out a little better for this guy, much like it did with Gildias. Of course, I don't actually have much ring power to work with. Now, his shtick is just to swing his flail around, and then every now and then he'll crouch down and throw it out in front of him. Shield ring? Yeah, shield ring. And my notes say, get in close and murder the shit out of his toe. That seems to be working more or less okay. I have to be careful not to get too close so that he kicks me in the face whenever he goes down on one knee. Like that. Taking hits from the flail is not nearly as bad as coming in contact with his body. Well, I could chug down some Brocia serum and get my ring power back, and maybe the heal ring could get me out of trouble. I think I'll give that a go. Problem is, unless I stay completely away, he seems to be out-damaging my heal ring, and yep, that's all she wrote. So I think this demands mainly two things. More caution when it comes to bonking into his foot, and praise Jah more harb. I've got the former covered, but for the latter, unfortunately, I'm going to have to head all the way back to town. So I am going to do exactly that, and I will see you on the rebound. Alrighty then, I'm back at the stairs leading up to Halvalgr, a little more beat up than I'd quite like to be, but I have my harb, I've got my Brocia serum, full ring power, I think this should be doable. Let's take a crack at it with the power ring, see if that works out any better than the shield ring did. And the answer is dear God no. Okay, lesson learned, mitigating damage is more important than doing it rapidly with this particular individual. I'm sorry I doubted you, shield ring. Okay, get in fairly close, but not so close that he kneels on you. Just chop away at the toe. Murder that toe. Alright, I am occasionally taking the flail bonk here and there, but it's working out pretty well, I think. Not quite ahead in the damage race, but I do have that harb. Yeah, I do think I'm gonna need that. But that's okay, that's why I bought it. And he is getting pretty low, and we've still got most of our second HP bar, so I think this is gonna work out just fine. Done and done. Back into the 5 digits on gold. Our XP is now fairly close to the final level, and we got a red armband, which is exactly what we need to pass by that barrier that we previously could not. Actually going to remember to take my ring off this time. Now then, we have another boss not too terribly far into our future, a little past the barrier I believe, so what I'm going to do now is head on back to town and pick up another harb just to be on the safe side, so I will edit myself there and back again, and I will catch you on the rebound. Or will I? Yep, I'm cutting back in just a little bit early, because as soon as I killed that caterpillar there, I hit the level cap. That's right, level 16, as high as it goes. As you can see, I am no longer gaining experience, and my health bar now spans the entire bottom of the screen. I have no further use for XP, but I am going to want to continue collecting money, because I am going to want that necklace at the item shop in town, and that is a cool 50,000 gold. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to check in with at this point. I'm going to go ahead and edit on back to that barrier in Valestein, so I will see you again in a little while. Back to Valestein, back to the barrier, and this time as Adol holds up the red armband, the light from the stone statue disappears, leaving us free to proceed. And as it turns out, proceeding is a very good thing because we got the battle armor. The very best armor in the game. So now we have the best armor, the best shield, the only thing we have to get yet is the best sword. And that's not terribly far off in the future, although we will not get it today. Nothing else down here, so back up we go. After dropping a save, because we want to keep that. For the moment, just more of the same. Until we encounter a separate area at the top of Valestein, there won't be any new enemies. Oh shit, dog on fire. Yep, there's our next boss. I believe its name is Halibus, but I haven't been able to find a perfectly reliable source on that. What I can tell you is that in Othenfelgana, it's more of a mechanical dog, and has the incredibly great name of Zelfel Zamshutilger. I like to think this is also ZZS. Well, we'll get saved up, and what's the best item here? According to my notes, this is very doable at level 15, so we're at the level cap of 16, so this should be very doable indeed. And I think we're going to turn this into a straight damage race, so Power Ring it is. Okay, damage race is not working out so far. That Fire Breath does a good bit of damage. For a change, it looks like that is more damaging than actually making contact with the boss. So yeah, I'm actually going to want to use a little technique for this one. We're going to want to avoid that Fire Breath instead of just kind of charging ahead through it and trying to tank it. Power Rings seem to be working out okay for damage dealing, though. So we're just gonna let him jump over us, run past us, hop over his Fire Breath, rinse, and repeat. Now that the Fire Breath is taken out of the equation, the damage race is looking much more favorable. Yeah, a lot of the time in this game you'll end up just standing toe-to-toe with bosses and slugging it out, because you'll take more damage if you actually try and dodge, but every now and then you have to use some actual technique. Imagine that. Yep, didn't even have to use my harp that time. I like that.
Adol, look out! I was so worried about you. I know you told me to wait, but I had to come for you. This man was going to attack you.
So you are Adol. I have heard of the troubles you gave Chester. I see. But who needs King Maguire? Step back!
Adol, let's follow him. Maybe you're right. It's too easy.
Well, I guess that was kind of pretty, with the ray of light and the twinkly music and what have you. Pardon me for not reading along that time, the text just goes away too damn fast. That gentleman, if you don't recall, was Merland, one of King Maguire's flunkies. In the Japanese version and Othenfelgana, he is known as Garland. And we're on to yet another basement area of Valestein. This time, in addition to the caterpillars, we have these red scorpion-y things. It's kinda hard to take them out without taking a hit yourself, but they do so little damage at this point that it's really nothing much to worry about. Max level, all the best protective gear, we can tank practically anything like a champ. Adol hears a man's voice from behind the door. Help us! We're in jail! The key is down there with the blue guard. Think our blue guard in question is just up the stairs here. And indeed he is. There we go. This is Zerduros. Just like the other two bosses we've seen so far in Valestein, this guy is a very different encounter in Oath and Felghana, but in this version, he is about as generic as bosses get. All he does is walk forward and swing, and as long as you wear the power ring and you're decently equipped and leveled, you can just slug it out with him and he'll drop before you do. Easy peasy. Well, no experience anymore, but we do have 30,000 now out of our 50,000 we need for the necklace, and we've also got a prison key. And since we just walked past a prison, I'm sure you can imagine what that's for. I don't know why King Maguire put me here. That fool. I was his loyal soldier. Not now. This armband will help you fight him. And now we have a nice complimentary blue and red set. Don't worry about the villagers. I'll set them free. You go fight. Oh, and I've gone and left my ring on again, haven't I? One moment. Doesn't look like the soldier has anything else to say. I saw you at Alcano. I'm Brother Pierre. Mayor Grady and I plan to overthrow King Maguire. We misjudged his power. Imagine a priest in this pit. And Brother Pierre also has nothing to say, beyond what we already heard. You came just in time. I'm Roy. We miners knew that the king set up the mine accident. He imprisoned us to hide his evil secret. Hey, it's Roy. Remember Grandma Ada's missing kid, the one she thought was dead? If she appreciated our bringing her his pendant back in the early game, imagine how happy she's gonna be when he comes home hale and hearty. Well, at this point I kinda fucked up. I went back to town thinking that all the villagers would have come home, but it turns out they don't actually escape until you're completely finished with Valestein. The rest of the raw video is just me running back to Redmont, realizing the locals haven't actually returned yet, then running all the way back. So this is where we'll break for today. It has been a pleasure as always, dear viewers, and I hope you'll join me next episode as we finish exploring Valestein and hopefully give King McG a piece of our mind. Till then, take care. This is signing off. Today's St. Valentine's Day has been brought to you by Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Alicia Goranson, Mechasaurus, DG Jono, Doug Russell, August Fortnite, Patrick Bellinger, Rob Lyons, Andy Kurland, Jarogue, Barton Schowenmakers, Mayo the Hedgefox, Hildegard Argelmach, IGV, Jazel, The Literary, Joseph Hall, Hot Mayo Sandwich, Dan Larson, and other very generous patrons. My overflowing gratitude to you all, and also to all commenters, subscribers, and watchers. I always enjoy revisiting these games with you, and I hope you're enjoying as well. May the rest of your week be kind, and I'll see you again real soon.